Well, good morning and welcome to today's episode of Disruptive Voices of the Pacific. And we have a guest that has been on before, but I wanted to bring her back and just get an update of the amazing work she's doing. Mercedes Swann is the founder of Mama Talanoa, which is a Pacifica support group for mothers really to break the silence around maternal mental health. So I love it. Again, she's disrupting that silence. So great to have you back, Mercedes.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Yeah, now I think it was about last July where I first interviewed you, and you were heavily pregnant and had longer hair. So now a baby has popped out. And how's that been for you? How has motherhood changed you?
Oh my goodness. I have a 6-month-old baby already. Isn't that crazy? I Motherhood has been the biggest change of my life to date. There's nothing that has changed so much about my routine and me as a person as becoming a mom. And I think it hit me a lot more than I thought it would. Being a very um, type A personality, organized, driven, someone who thrives on structure and schedules. I had to throw all of that out the window when I gave birth and haven't really gotten much of it back. That's been the most challenging thing, and it's been challenging but rewarding. And I've loved it and I've hated it at the same time, but um yeah, it's been a roller coaster to say the least.
Can you tell us what you found most challenging?
The most challenging thing has been the sleep deprivation, for sure. The waking up 2 to 3 times a night to feed baby, because she still gets up to eat every 2 to 3 hours has been so tough. And as someone who, really loves my sleep and needs 8 hours of sleep, even just normally before kids, I have really been struggling with my energy levels and just, not being able to sleep a good deep sleep has been very tough for me.
No, I can't imagine. Can't imagine at all. But obviously, there's the joys. You've got a beautiful young baby girl. What brings you the most joy in being a mother?
I think the thing that brings me the most joy is seeing a completely new human experience the world for the first time, whether it's when we walk outside and my daughter can hear birds and she's looking around trying to see what's making the noise, or it can be as simple as playing with a little plastic cup. Like she'll just be so excited about the most simple things that it makes me excited as well. And it feels like such a privilege that I get to show her all these beautiful things in the world.
Yeah, wow. So much for her to learn and discover. You did a Instagram post recently, just which was very honest and I loved it, just talking about how you come from a long line of working women who have kind of had the babies and done the working as well. And perhaps that you were hoping that might be your journey, but the reality is you're different. We're all different and we all have different capacities and the babies are different. But I think, your post was really just adding value of being content and being a mother, and that's okay. How important is it for ones who are stay-at-home mothers just to come to just being content in that?
It's so important to be content where you are in your life. There is definitely, especially, with the feminist movement, I think in the last 50 years, a lot of push for women to be in the workplace and to achieve just as much as men. And that's wonderful. It's wonderful that we live in a world that women can go to school and have a career and have a family. But there are a lot of mothers out there who want to stay home and be a present parent. I think sometimes our society makes them feel bad that that's what they want to do. Um, I talked about in my post how sometimes society associates staying at home with not being productive. We think of a stay-at-home mom and we might think, oh, she's not doing a whole lot. She's probably just sitting there with her baby and, on her phone and not contributing to society as much as a working mom or a woman who doesn't have kids and is at work. But what we and what society and what mothers fail to realize themselves is that their work has an impact on generations to come. Raising individuals who are responsible, caring, um, you know, um, concerned citizens of society is such a heavy job and so important. And I think we, as stay-at-home moms, can sometimes sell ourselves short and think that what we're doing is not worthwhile. I've definitely had those days where I'm like, oh, should I just go and get a job? Am I really doing a whole lot? Because I'm used to doing so much and being out there and working or studying before this and having to become a mom and suddenly being home, often isolated all the time, has been really tough for me. And I think it's tough for other mothers who went from a fast-paced life to now being you've really slowed down. Um, we have those thoughts. And I've thought like maybe I would be further along in my career if I go to back to work now. Um, but I have to remind myself of why I made this decision to stay home. I feel very blessed that I have the opportunity to stay home with my daughter and be able to raise her and be present for all of her milestones and be there for her every day. That's not a choice that a lot of women can make. Some women do have to work. But because I have the choice, I've chosen to stay home and I'm now having to learn to be okay with that decision. And that's something that a lot of stay-at-home moms have to wrestle with.
Yep, it's not an easy thing, but keep going. You're doing great. But in the meantime, as well, you have been continuing on with your online support group, Mama Talanoa, and that just started just before you gave birth. And so, what's been the biggest accomplishments in the last 7 months of running that group?
The biggest accomplishment I would say is we've created a community of women who understand that if, uh, let me say this the right way, we've created a community of mothers, to say it, in a short way. That was the goal, was to create a community and to create a feeling of belonging and that mothers are not alone. I think one of the biggest like little wins for me is whenever I go out and someone recognizes me and says, "Oh, you do Mama Talanoa. Like I love what you do. I'm a mom as well, and if there's any way I could help, I want to help." And so it's been really cool when I'd get random messages, and I still get them these days, of women sending in their stories or asking if there's anyone they can talk to, or when's the next Zoom session. So women are starting to recognize that Mama Talanoa is the go-to place
Yeah,
as a mom,
yeah,
whatever concerns they have. And that's been nice that there's that recognition that we are here to help moms. And it's just nice. It's nice that the word's gotten out there and that there's been a bigger spotlight on postpartum depression and other related illnesses. But yes, the biggest accomplishment has been creating a community of moms who are there to support each other from around the world.
yeah. It's huge. And we can't underestimate just the importance of that community and the importance of, yeah, having somewhere to share these struggles and stories. Because, yep, sometimes we feel like we just got to keep going in life. And so you've been meeting generally once a month online with different speakers. What are some of the topics that you've covered?
We've covered a range of topics from postpartum nutrition to depression and anxiety. We had an awesome session on personal styling and self-worth. We had a professional stylist from New Zealand join us and talk about, how to find your spark again after giving birth and how to dress in a way that makes you feel confident and beautiful, even as a mother. We've covered topics like sleep, very practical topics like how to get more sleep as a mother, which is the biggest question we all have. So we've had such a fun time exploring all these different topics, and I'm really excited to continue to dive into other topics in 2026.
Yeah. And I noticed on your page you're inviting women to share their stories, which again is just so powerful. Is there a story that sticks out to you from all the ones that women have sent in that you can share with us?
There was a story of a mother who sent it in just the other day, and I haven't actually posted it yet, but I will post it in a few weeks. She experienced the loss of her very young child. I think her son was 3 years old, and her child passed away when she was pregnant with the second one. So she calls this whole experience motherhood with, be living between love and loss. I thought that was beautiful. And she
Mm.
talks about how, she was going through such grief, but was pregnant and knew that she needed to keep it together because she was going to give birth again. And what we experience as moms mentally and emotionally will affect our unborn child. And so she talked about how she came to understand that this baby was in a way, being sent by her son who had passed away. And this daughter that she then went on to have reminded her so much of her son.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pain and the grief that she's been through. But she wanted to share her story because she wanted other mothers out there who have experienced both loss and pregnancy or any sort of loss to know that they're not alone and to know that God does sometimes unexplainable things in our lives and gives us such difficult trials, knowing that that's often the only way we can learn some of the lessons He wants us to learn. And it was a really touching story. I remember reading it and just having tears in my eyes, just, thinking, wow, what if that was my own child that I lost? Would I have so much faith as to then just move forward and, have the next pregnancy and then just have another child again? And she's incredible. So I'm
Mm.
really excited to share her story.
Yeah, great. Well, watch out for that one. And I know, starting this online group came out of a need for yourself to find community, but also with the heart to help other mothers. And I guess, things that I always start where I think I'm helping others, I end up learning more myself. So what are you discovering from the mothers you're interacting with, the women in the Pacific? What are you discovering around pregnancy and birth for them?
Mm. I am discovering how lonely a lot of these mothers are. Being from the Pacific and living in a place where we have so much, so many family members around and what seems like a lot of support, I'm surprised by how many mothers still reach out and say, I have no one to share this with. I can't even share this with my husband. I can't even share this with my sisters because they're going to judge me. It actually shocks me how lonely some of these mothers feel. At the same time, I've had my lonely days, even though I'm surrounded by people and I live with extended family. I've had days where even surrounded by people, I feel like what I'm going through, I don't have someone to fully share it with that will truly understand. I do have a loving husband. I have family who will listen, but it's just different from sharing it with another mom.
Yeah.
It's different from being able to just say, this really sucks, I really don't like this part, or I'm really struggling with this. And just having a mom say, that's exactly how I feel, or I felt that way, and it's going to be okay. So I'm learning that a lot of moms are still very lonely, even though they have a lot of great support, which shows that we need this space, such as Mama Talanoa. And I'm also learning how strong these women are.
Mm.
Again, just like the story I shared, you wouldn't believe what sorts of loss and grief and heartache these women have been through, yet they continue on to they just continue to mother every day because they have to, and they just move forward. It's amazing.
Mm. Yeah, wow. Inspirational. Now, you did a survey recently on your platform. What were some of the questions you were asking in that survey of mothers? And again, what were some of the findings?
This survey was for all moms who signed up for the support group. So we have had over 400 women respond to that survey,
Wow. Wow.
which is a pretty big number.
It's huge.
And so I do take, very seriously what they shared there. And the two questions I had were, you know, what do you hope to get out of this support group? And is there anything that you would like to share that's just on your heart? If I were to summarize what we found in that survey was the number one thing, so 67% of those women said that loneliness was their biggest struggle.
Mm.
A lot of them just want mama friends. They want connection and a space to share and be understood. Um, and then the second biggest thing that moms wanted out of a support group was a space to speak openly about postpartum depression and anxiety. They feared being dismissed by others, being told, oh, you're just being dramatic, you'll get over it. This is just part of a motherhood to feel that way. So they wanted a space to not feel like they were going to be shamed or told that they're overreacting. And then I think the third biggest thing was they want to learn from each other. They just want to hear other mothers' experiences and just be able to understand, is what I'm feeling normal? Or is what my baby going through normal? So they just want a space to be able to ask those questions. And as a result of this survey, I realized that while the Zoom sessions were great in getting the conversation started, we didn't really have a space to just ask the most random questions. And so we actually set up a private Facebook group that our mothers are a part of, and we're constantly getting new signups where mothers can ask questions anonymously.
Yeah.
And that allows them to ask the questions that are really on their hearts freely and openly. So that's been a really good space in addition to the Zoom sessions where moms can bring up whatever it is that's on their heart or that's worrying them
Mm.
to other moms and have other mothers immediately respond and say, me too, or my child was just exactly the same as that when, they were her age. And so that's been a really good place to increase the sense of community and continue these conversations.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we were never meant to do life alone, were we? The importance of being together. So, 2026, what does Mama Talanoa look like as you're moving forward? What are you planning?
We're continuing with our Zoom sessions every fortnight. We have a lot of plans for how we're going to improve that. And I'm working with some wonderful people who are much smarter than me and have a lot more experience in motherhood and in this space. I'm excited to get their expertise on board and their help. We have a lot of things we'd like to do, like bringing on different guest speakers that we haven't had before to talk about topics we haven't touched on. So I think we're continuing on. We find that the Zoom format works well and that we are able to reach moms not only in Fiji, but around the world. So we're going to continue with that. We're hoping that this year we can have an in-person event if possible.
Mm.
We'll keep working on that. And if everything falls into place, then that's something that is coming up for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing this year. We're continuing on and hoping to work with other organizations like Ask for Help and other people who want to help with mental health work. Um, yeah, that's the
And
plan.
so, people who want to sign up and join your monthly Zooms, how do they go about doing that?
They can go to the Facebook page for Mama Talanoa or Instagram
Yeah.
at Mama Talanoa. And we have in the bio there a sign up link where they can either sign up for the support group or they can find the link that leads them to the private Facebook group
Yeah.
for moms.
Brilliant. Well done on popping out a baby and continuing to support Pacific mothers around the world. And I love it. It's just consistent, doing what you can do, and but no doubt having a huge impact on so many women. So you're an inspiration, Mercedes, and I trust that this will just continue to, yeah, open up conversations, bring healing, bring hope to many women. So thank you.
Thank you so much.